No, you're right. It's never easy and a really hard decision. But at the end of the day, I think it's best moving forward. We've got, I believe it's 36 games left. There's been, a number of reasons, but I think the lack of just consistency, the lack of production, the belief we have ability wise, certainly on the mound. And we want to change the voice these last 36 games or so. And Larry's brought a lot to us, a lot of experience, a ton of knowledge. I believe he was the right guy at the right time. We've won a lot of games with Larry as the pitching coach. But moving forward, we've been in a situation where we've certainly had some injuries. There's no doubt about that. But we've had just some inconsistency on the mound, and I just think at the end of the day we haven't reached our level of production consistently on the mound. And with 36 games to go, we want to try to give a different message, a different voice, and ultimately Ben Fritz will take over the duties down the final stretch here.
Jayce, is it the feeling it's the content of the message? Was it the way the message was being delivered, or a combination of both that needs to be changed right now?
No, I think it just really comes down to just the lack of consistency right now. And, certainly over the last couple of weeks, yes, but we haven't reached our level of production, of what we're capable of doing. And instead of waiting and seeing what's going to happen and staying stagnant, I thought the best thing to do for this team moving forward is to bring in a different voice, a different message, a different perspective right now.
Jayce, I assume since you're the one speaking to this, that this was your decision?
This was 100% my decision. That's correct. And I've had discussions over the last couple of weeks with AJ. We've gone, back and forth, having discussion. And I believe it was, maybe 10, 12 days ago where we had brought it up. And obviously it's a hard decision. It's an incredibly tough decision. We wanted to give it a week, 10 days to see if things would turn around. And then ultimately last night, AJ and I spoke. Obviously a big decision like this, you never want to be reactive. You want to talk it through. I've talked with AJ. I've talked to the group upstairs in the baseball operations. I've heard opinions, and ultimately 100% it was my decision.
I know you said voice, new voice, but what is it that you hope to accomplish by doing this now?
Yeah, I think being able to add Ben Fritz here, these final 36 games, and I do mean that with, just a little bit of a new voice, a new message, a new tone. Fritzy knows these guys, has been around these guys. He's been with the organization on several different roles. He's been a coordinator, he's been a pitching coach, he's been a rehab coordinator, and he's been in the major leagues these past 2 years. And I believe he's done a great job with our bullpen. I think he is one of the reasons our bullpen has performed very well this year. And so being able, with his experience, knowing the system, knowing the guys, and be able to provide his perspective, ultimately, I think is going to give us our best chance to pitch to our capabilities down the stretch.
I have one more, and this is not to suggest that anyone else should be fired, but how is this Larry's fault, and other things that are going wrong are not other people's fault in their areas of expertise?
Yeah, it's Larry is definitely not a scapegoat in this. Larry has done so much for this organization. He's done so much in his career, just his experience in the game. Again, to me as the manager, ultimately I'm responsible for the staff. I'm responsible for our performance and getting our players to play to their abilities. And ultimately, I made the decision with the idea and the thinking that this is going to be best for us moving forward. Yeah, I think the new message, the new voice, the new set of eyes and lens and perspective, and Fritzy does a great job as well, using his resources and being able to use the Preston Mattingleys and the Peter Somervilles and be able to get different perspectives. But ultimately, what we're looking for is more consistent performance on the mound, certainly in the starting pitching area. And again, I believe this is going to give us our best chance down the stretch for our pitchers to reach their potential. Yeah, you try to weigh in all those things, and that's why it is an incredibly hard decision. And that's why I've done a lot of talking, done a lot of thinking, gone back and forth. And to your point, you definitely weigh the injuries, you weigh all the factors that come in. And we've shown flashes throughout the year, but I think at the end of the day, it's just been a little bit too inconsistent. We've only had some flashes of the guys pitching to what I believe is their capability, and looking for more consistency down the stretch.
Thanks, Jayce.
A little over a week ago, AJ kind of touted Larry's track record in the playoffs and discussed that when that was brought up to him. And he was fired before your team got to that point this year. And AJ also kind of cited the impact of injuries, and Darvish and Paddock are on the way back fairly soon, it sounds like. So what changed, if anything, in such a short period of time?
I think we've had those discussions over, I don't know if it's been the last 10 days or the last 2 weeks. And ultimately, Larry was the right guy for the hire, especially with a young pitching staff last year. His pitching staff pitched us into the playoffs. And then, this offseason, we acquired, maybe some more veteran frontline pitching. And just throughout the year, again, there's a lot of factors to it. There's some inconsistent performance. We believe, guys haven't been as consistent at the top of their game. We've certainly had some injuries and some other factors. And so after talking about it 10 days ago, we made the decision to see if this thing will turn, and if we'll get some guys rolling. And it's been very much, unfortunately, the same. And instead of staying stagnant, I thought it was best to be proactive right now.
And how much did feedback from the pitching staff itself influence the decision, if at all? You said you kind of surveyed the landscape there broadly.
Yeah, it was more discussion internally with AJ and myself. With baseball operations, those were the majority of the conversations.
So you're saying the staff wasn't involved?
The pitching staff,
or the all the arms on the 26 man.
I'm in discussion with those guys, but I did not have discussion on ultimately making a decision on Larry with those guys. No.
Does this move today speak at all to the urgency of kind of where you guys are right now situationally in the standings? You're outside of the playoff picture, and things haven't been going right for a while now. Just kind of maybe turning things around.
I think it speaks to more of what I said earlier. Is we're looking for a fresh voice, a little bit of a newer perspective down the stretch, and we're looking for more consistent production from a big group of the guys that we believe a lot in.
You've used the term consistency a lot from your pitchers, but I'm wondering, are you looking for your pitchers after this move to have a change in their approach, their dedication, their attitude, perhaps with this change in pitching coach as well, on your pitchers specifically, not the coaching staff?
No, I don't think it's more about want to or approach or dedication or work ethic. It'll be more on a different perspective of if we're seeing something maybe mechanically or pitch usage, and like I said, just a different voice right now, and we're looking for more production and more consistency at the end of the day.
Finally, the pitching depth you have, you've been using a lot of bullpen days. Is there nobody in the minor leagues that can come up and be a starter? Is there nobody that's ready at AAA or AA level?
We believe that our guys that we have right now up here give us a better chance to win than maybe some of the guys that are in AAA and AA right now.
My question deals with the type of pitching that AJ and the organization seems to pick up over the years. I mean, when you go to like Darvish, Clevenger, Paddock, these are all guys who have had Tommy John surgery. They've had shoulder problems. Yeah, I know it's tough in baseball to get pitching at some point where some veteran arm that doesn't have something. But when you sit down in the offseason, doesn't this all start with this? And then you have to like reevaluate how you choose your pitching?
You're right on the fact that the majority of guys, and when you look around the league, and if you're a veteran pitcher, you've got a very high probability of having some type of surgery or arm or shoulder, condition, whether that's Tommy John, et cetera. I believe at the end of the day, we acquired all those guys that you just named for specific reasons, because they've have the ability, and the majority of them have had big time track record of logging innings and getting outs and throwing productive innings for us. And that's ultimately, our goal. I think you look up at the offseason and be able to acquire Snell, Darvish, and Musgrove. Now we've had some guys on the IL or the shelf here or there, but this move is more about getting more consistent innings, not only from those three, but also from the majority of our pitching staff. And at the end of the day, like I said earlier, we're looking for just a new message right now. We have the guys to do it, and we've got a 36-game sprint. If you're looking big picture, if you're looking small picture, we're pretty focused on the Dodgers right now.